What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Mythic Drafting, where today we'll be doing our first sealed of the new set, March of the Machine, in preparation for the upcoming Arena Open. The first thing to always do is check our rares, and we have some very, very good ones here. We've got Boon-Bringer Valkyrie, which is one of the best cards in the set. Breach the Multiverse, which I think is an amazing bomb in draft, but probably even better in sealed. Invasion of Ixalan is also very, very good. It's quite efficient, good early game play, and could be a strong creature on the backside. Invasion of Tolvado is also just a very, very strong card. You get to return your best non-battle permanent card from your graveyard, and if you can ever flip this thing, you just get a 2/1 flying lifelink every single turn. Rankle and Torben is a mana-intensive card, and it is quite good. I think flying first strike and haste on a 3/4 is obviously going to swing a lot of games, but you need to sort of have enough fodder and enough cheap creatures in order to make the sacrificing a creature ability really good, or have enough board presence to make the swing out a lot more lethal with the last ability. And then we have Glissa, another incredible bomb, one of the best cards in the set. This thing just is an absolute house, and you just basically choose each ability in order, or you can just keep incubating twice every single turn. Ridiculous card. And then we have a Richtmithus Slumbering Isle, which is, I think, potentially playable in some sealed decks, but I don't think this is going to be the one for it, given that it looks like we already have a high power level and we don't need something as risky as this to sort of give us the power. So just taking a look at this, I think in this format in sealed, you're going to want to lean towards playing your bombs because other decks are going to have them, and you're not going to have the curve most of the time in order to deal with them. So if you need to have the power level and take advantage of the cards that you open. And looking here, we can see we've got a white and a black card, a white-black rare, and then a green-black rare as well. And so I think it's going to be possible that we're maybe some kind of white-black deck, depending on our commons and uncommons, that splashes for Glissa. But we'll just see. I think Rankle and Torben's going to be difficult to play unless our black and red is just really, really good and we want to play these two cards, but getting away from the Valkyrie is going to be very, very difficult, I think. So let's take a look at our colors. So let's take a look at white first. We've got Double Inquisitor, which is great. Invasion of Belenon, which I think is playable. Kithkin Billy Rider, also potentially playable. Seal from Existence, Seraph. These cards are all playable. So some decent white cards here. I think, I'd like to just look at them in terms of cards I'm really happy to play, and then more mediocre cards here. Blue doesn't look to be that good. There's Invasion of Vryn, which is good. Dispersal is good, but probably better in draft. There's the Aerialist and Tetsuko, which are both fine. Double Cleansing is fine, but this doesn't look to be our strongest color. I think if you don't have a really strong pull into it, it's going to be difficult to find your way in there. And then in terms of black, I've got just pulling out the cards we're happy to play here. Vanquish the Weak, I think, is decent, but most of the stuff that you need to kill is a lot higher power. And so stuff like Deadly Derision is just a lot better. But additionally, one thing that this can do is it really punishes the flip cards, because most of them have less than 2 power, and if your opponent sinks the mana into them and you respond with Vanquish the Weak, it can be pretty backbreaking. Gargantuan's awesome. Breach is obviously fantastic, and then the Mauler as well, I think, is a lot better in sealed. I think this card's fine in draft as well, but being able to Swamp Cycle as well as being a huge body that can give something +2/+2 and Menace for the turn is very, very strong. Have a look at red. We've got the Spell Spear, and then really not much else other than a Stoke the Flames. Shatter the Source is also playable. Now let's take a look at green. We have Cosmic Hunger, the Invasion, Streetwise. These Death Touches are fine. The Takedown is good. War Historian's fine if we've got battles, but it doesn't look like we have a ton of battles. The Escort's also a lot better in sealed, and then the Hermit. We've obviously got the Tolvado and the Glissa, which we're going to want to be playing. And then we have, double Skittering Surveyor. So that is huge for us. and we have a green-white duel, a green-red duel, and a blue-red duel. So I think looking here initially, our best cards really are these two single-pipped colours in Abzan, these two cards, and then we've got the Breach and the Boon-Bringer. And so I think the first thing I want to take a look at, the green seems fine, but it doesn't seem amazing. And white and black, they both seem pretty equivalent. So I think let's just lay out the white-black, and then we can look at splashing the Glissa. There's nothing else in green individually that is high power, and both black and white have very powerful cards individually as well. So I'm just going to get rid of these green cards for now, and we can take a look at what this looks like. So just pull removal out separately, and then I like to lay out the curve itself to take a look at what it looks like. So Drinker, Nezumi Informant. I think Invasion of Eldraine is good in this deck because it allows you to... I think that the Mine Rod is very strong and sealed, a lot stronger than in draft, and you're less likely to get tempoed out with it. And then it's just upside if you manage to ever flip it. So having a look at this seems very strong. I don't think it's very likely we're going to play these green cards over it. We've got the green-white duel, the two Skittering Surveyors. We can get away with playing one Forest. And then we've just got to cut two cards here. So our removal package is just these four cards. I don't think we can cut any of them. And it is a little bit scary that we don't have any more removal other than that, but I think we will be on the game plan that we are just tempoing out our opponents, out card qualitying them, sorry. So then the Billy Rider with 1/3, we don't have a ton of ways of pumping that thing. I'm sort of looking at that we could cut the Corrupted Conviction and the Drinker. This card goes well with Drinker, Nezumi Informant, also goes well with the Double Surveyor, and just a nice way to generate some more card advantage when we don't have a ton until we get up to our top end of Phyrexian, Gargantua, and Breach. It's going to allow us to hit land drops, and I think the cuts here are going to be these double strikers. I don't think they're particularly good in this deck when we don't have a lot of backup. They are good with the Boon-Bringer Valkyrie, the Aeronaut, and the Gloomfang Mauler. I'm not sure how good Invasion of Belenon is, but the 2/2 White Knight with the upside, giving all our creatures +1/+1. I haven't played with this card yet, and I'm keen to play with it, so I'm going to play with this to get a feel for how good it is. I think I'd like to keep... I think we cut one Billy Rider, and then it comes down to whether we cut, I think, Drinker or the second Billy Rider. Our deck has enough power level at the top here that we're more geared towards the late game. I don't think we're geared towards this aggressive start, and Drinker is a body for the Conviction. It's a Phyrexian for Norn's Inquisitor. I think it just has a little bit more synergy in our deck. So I think we're going to run with this. I don't think there's anything in blue or red that we want to look at. I don't think we want to splash the Botanical Brawler. Don't think we want to splash this either. I'd much rather have the more consistent version of the deck, and I don't think it's worth laying out green over these black cards because black gives us access to the Derision, the Vanquish, the Gargantua, the Breach, and the Mauler, as well as having some good early plays as well. So let's add our lands. I think we want to play... Probably we've got white here. I think it's probably going to be an 8-8 split. We have Seal. So that means we're playing 7 plains and 8 forests. And the reason for that... 8 swamps. The reason for that is we have double in both of our colours. We definitely have more double black, but most of it is much later. We also have 2 surveyors. And we'll need access to double white just as early. The things we need access to earlier, Derision and Seal from Existence. So we want access to double of both colours, but we've got 2 surveyors, so that gives us 10 sources in each. They have the swamp cycling as well, which adds an additional source for the black. So I think it's worth playing the 8 white lands and the 8 black lands. So that's going to be the deck. I will see everyone for game number 1. Alrighty, game number 1 here. We've got a 2-land hand. Our opponent's going first, and we've got a swamp cycler. So I think we definitely keep this hand. What we're going to do is cycle this for a swamp. We don't need to do that anymore. We were going to cycle it for a swamp because that would allow us to play, guarantee we could play Skittering Surveyor and then play Glissa. So now we've drawn another 7-drop here. So I'm going to pass the turn. And the question is, do we swamp cycle this now? And I think we do, because we've got Breach, which is going to be our turn 7 play no matter what. And we just need to make sure we're hitting land drops. And now we're actually going to play Vanquish the Weak on the Chrome Host Seed Shark this turn. And so I want to make sure that we have another land to hit on turn 4 to guarantee that. We don't want, the way we sort of potentially lose this game is we fall behind in terms of tempo, and we're not hitting our land drops, and we can't get, Glissa and Boon-Bringer Valkyrie out onto the battlefield. So this turn, opponents played Eyes of Gataxias. They're going to have a 3/3 next turn. That's fine. So we're going to run out our Skittering Surveyor and go and fetch a forest. And now next turn we can play Glissa, and then we can play Boon-Bringer Valkyrie on the Glissa, and then ideally the turn after that we can play Breach if we've drawn our lands, or we can just play Seal and Invasion of Belenon, and we'll be in a very, very good spot here, I think. So opponent can flip the 3/3. A little bit worried about the Rona, but we have Seal from Existence, so if they... No blocks. If they go to flip this next turn, so they've left 3 mana up. I think this is most likely Meeting of the Minds here. I don't think it's likely to have a counterspell. They keep hovering over here. So I think we just run out Glissa here. It's probably more important that we stick the Boon-Bringer next turn. But the Glissa lands. So we incubate twice. I think next turn we'll probably flip both of these just because we want to get the pressure on. We're going to be using all of our mana. We're not going to have time to flip them. And so we just need to start getting the creatures down. Opponent can flip Rona next turn, but if they flip it, we can always play Skittering Surveyor, play Seal of Existence, get in for a free point of damage here, unless they have it's very unlikely to have a legendary spell here. So if they spend all their time flipping Rona, means we can block the 3/3 safely. They'll attack us, we'll Seal from Existence it away, and that's a pretty big tempo swing for us. It's probably likely they'll do this because they need something to match the power of Glissa to win the game. If they have a removal spell for Glissa, obviously they take that down. But if they don't, it's going to be very tempting to flip Rona and sort of go all in on that plan. They then are just banking that we don't have removal. And given we've already played our Vanquish, it's possible we don't. But I think that's a pretty risky play if you've got other cards in your hand. And flipping, yeah, so I think that locks things up for us. No blocks. If we draw a land, we can play Invasion, but here I think we just tap like this. We play Skittering Surveyor. We go and get a Plains. So we're going to exile the Rona. Then we go to combat. We want to transform them. And then we just get in with the Glissa. And now next turn we can play Boon-Bringer, we can play Breach the Multiverse if we draw a land. We're in a pretty good spot here. Opponent's going to have something pretty sweet in order to win this one. An Oculus Whelp I don't think is going to be the thing that does it. So now we can Breach, or we can Boon-Bringer here. So I think we actually just want to... Our life total's at 10. Glissa can give all our Phyrexians First Strike and Death Touch, so that's going to be very good. But I think here we just want to run out the Boon-Bringer and put it on Glissa. Put it on Glissa. Give all our Phyrexian First Strike and Death Touch. And just get in with the team. We're going to gain a ton of life. They can block here and draw a card if they want. And then we can run out. I think we hold Drinker because if they have Sunfall, it's, you know, it's a good extra little body. We've still got the Breach against Sunfall. But it's not really going to be doing much for us, and it could be a potential. The fact that Sunfall exiles and then we don't get the backside of this ability means that I think we just want... No, they don't have anything. Opponent's seen the writing on the wall. I did have fun in the match, and I'll see everyone for game number 2. Alrighty, welcome back for game number 2. We're going first. We're on the play. 2 lands with Surveyor and Nezumi Rat. I think we're keeping this hand. We do need to draw a 3rd land in our first 2 turns, but even if we miss 1 turn, I don't think it's the end of the world, especially in sealed. I would obviously prefer not to, but there it is. So we get to run out Nezumi. We get to play Surveyor and go and look for probably a forest. We do have the double black, but we're very likely to draw another swamp. And I don't want to draw Glissa and not be able to cast it. So here, we could vanquish this, but it's not really doing anything at this point, and opponent can always get it back. So we just go and get the forest. We have a lot of black sources in our deck, so I'm quite happy to wait. It's very likely that once we're hitting our 7th land that we're going to have drawn the 2nd swamp and be able to cast that. So opponent, love Overgrown Pest. Great card in sealed, giving you, the extra lands. Very similar in a way to Skittering Surveyor, but just that extra power. And we're rewarded a little bit here with Glissa. So now we have a question of, we could seal from existence the Grafted Butcher, but on this board it's really just a 2-2. So I think we just pass and say go. If opponent wants to attack, we can double block, and then if they have a trick or anything, we can vanquish the weak. We can also just vanquish the weak anything they play with power toughness next turn. And then next turn we're just going to hopefully draw a land and play Glissa. Incubate 2. Right, so incubate 5 here. So I think here we just want to vanquish the weak, the Grafted Butcher. It's going to become a bit of a problem. And that's just like, we need to take advantage of our mana, and we're going to be playing Glissa and Invasion of Tolvado, and we can seal from existence it back. And if they want to spend that turn paying 4 mana to return it and not flip this and give this +1/+1 a menace, that's absolutely fine. We just slam Glissa here. We're going to incubate 2 twice, pass, and now if opponent can kill Glissa, we can Invasion of Tolvado it back, flip our incubate tokens and start bashing the invasion and looking for the Broken Sky. This card's very, very good and very good in sealed. I think we have very strong sealed pool with Glissa, the Sarah Angel variant, Invasion of Tolvado, Breach the Multiverse. These are some of the strongest cards I think you can get in sealed. And so, very, very happy to have them. Opponent's very likely going to flip this incubated token. No, they're not. So now we're left with the choice of Invasion of or draining our opponent, or playing Invasion of Tolvado. I think we just go ahead and just get Glissa back at this point. Puts a lot of pressure on the opponent. Get our Glissa back. I think here again, we're going to just incubate 2 twice. We're just setting up all the value with our tokens. He's going to flip the incubate token. It's a 5/5. That's fine. I think the opponent potentially is going to sacrifice the pest to get back the Grafted Butcher. Not particularly worried about that. Opponent really has to leave back a lot of blockers here, because next turn we can have 4 2/2s attacking the Invasion of Tolvado. They don't know, but we also have a removal spell. So, I mean, this turn we can actually, if they don't have any other plays, we can take out their 5/5 So Timuret. Wow, that is a ballsy attack from the opponent. We can... we have no blocks. We'll happily take 5 here. So we can just flip all of our 2/2s and bash the invasion of Tolvado. So the other option as well is to seal from existence one of them, and it allows us to pressure this more, but I don't think we want to do that. I think we just want to transform all our incubator tokens and then get in, force opponent to trade a lot of their stuff to protect the Tolvado. It's potential we should have attacked here with these, but I think they just eat them. And now we're going to invasion of Eldraine them. They're going to discard 2. They're going to have 1 card in hand. We're going to have Breach next turn. And we've also got Seal if we need to take out the 5/5 here. Opponent's in a pretty tough spot. So they have their own invasion. They have completed Huntmaster. That deck seems pretty good. But this is the thing in Sealed. If you don't have these, I mean, that's a ridiculous bomb. Yeah, if you don't have these ridiculous cards to bring you back into the game, it's really tough. So we can just seal from existence the Broodlord here. This is part of the reason as well in Sealed. One of the things you really want to do is make sure that you want to make sure that you are holding your removal for the stuff that really matters. You don't want to throw away your removal spell on like a Timuret or a 5/5 token, because it's very likely your opponents are going to have, especially in this format, some kind of bomb. So now we can just say go. We get a 1/1 Flying Spirit token. They take 2. All of our tokens are getting +1/+0 and have lifelink, so these become a lot more of significant threats. We can also just give them all first strike. Death Touch. Wow, so breach the multiverse from opponent here. So they can go ahead and get back. This is a really, I mean, this is a swingy card. This card is, you know, very much going to help them here, especially if they've milled our... Wow, they didn't mill. That's very unlucky. They didn't mill our Angel there. That would have been pretty good for them. Made the game a lot more interesting, but take the victory there, and I'll see everyone for game number 3. Alrighty, back again for game number 3. This hand's a snap keep. We've got one of every land. We've got some nice early plays here in Nezumi. Play the Etherblade Agent. We can always flip the Agent on turn 4, and we've got Vanquish the Weak to deal with anything problematic early. And now we've drawn our other bomb, Glissa. I think, you know, the percentage of us winning when we draw one of these cards is very high. When we draw both of them, as long as we can cast them, it's equally high. So Deep Root Wayfinder is a good one. I think we just run out the Etherblade Agent here. If they deal combat damage to us, then we can, you know, they can surveil 1. That's fine, but we're likely going to block with the Death Toucher here. And if they kill the agent, they really want to get this land back, then we can just chump with the Nezumi Informant to prevent them from getting the land. So if it becomes very apparent that they're really keen on doing this, we can chump and then vanquish it next turn and still have this. So yeah, wow, okay. So opponent is very set on getting back that land. But here we can actually flip the agent and start getting in. I think that's just better for us because they can return the land tapped here, but we're just going to get a card every turn. If we draw land next turn as well, we can play, I was going to say the Valkyrie if we drew that. We can play the Aeronaut, get a +1/+1 counter, get another land. It's pretty clear that this land is important to them. So we'll just chump here. Not let them get it back. Not let them get the Surveil. They're going to have to chump here. But I think we could run out the Aeronaut and play that here, but I think we just want to get Glissa online. It's just a ridiculous card. And the more turns it's in play, the stronger it is. They're going to chump here. I mean, they can flip their You know, they can flip that token, play the kite sail. These things are fine. Yeah, that's fine. We can vanquish this next turn. You know, if they pass and clearly want to flip this. So now we have a choice. We're definitely playing the Blossoming Sands. We've got Valkyrie next turn. We can just vanquish this. Or we can just play the Aeronaut onto itself. So we can play the Aeronaut on the Mindslinger or the Glissa and just draw a card. I actually think here the line may just be to vanquish this. They're going to just keep getting in card advantage here. But also if we just make a 4/4 Death Toucher. I think actually we can just attack with the Mindstinger. They're going to have to trade that 5/5 for it. And I'm happy to do that. It just gets a good blocker off the board. And then we can play this as just a 3/4 flyer. Save the vanquish. And next turn we can flip all of our tokens with Glissa. So, put it on itself. And now we can block the Wayfinder. We can flip all of the tokens. We have Boon-Bringer to make this a flyer. That forest cycling. So I think, yeah, we're in a pretty good spot here. I mean, as I said, this deck is just absurd. And Glissa and Boon-Bringer Valkyrie. Oh, wow, Invasion of Innistrad. So that's a sweet one. It does... So now they can flip this. If they can flip this, that's obviously good for them. But we have Boon-Bringer Valkyrie. So there is an argument to play the removal spell here. Flip one of our incubate tokens and just start getting in. But I think if we just slam the Valkyrie here, it's very unlikely they're going to be able to flip this on the same turn. We're just going to start putting the absolute pressure on them here. We've got 2 massive flyers, got 3 removal spells in hand. We can play Seal and Vanquish in the same turn. So even if they flip this, they're not going to be able to deal with their flyers. So yeah, even if they can kill the Valkyrie, they deal 3 to this, we can kill it. And then we've still got 2 more removal spells as well. So opponent's in a tough spot here. Yeah. So they put that on there. I think we just can go ahead and Deadly Derision this. The treasure allows us to keep up Vanquish the Weak. We just attack them. Got lethal next turn. We can flip the incubator token next turn if they don't have anything that we need to vanquish. And we've still got Seal from Existence. So this deck is amazing. I would love to open this in the Arena Open. So failed conversion, that's fine. They're just dead on board at the moment. So we can start flipping our tokens. And they have to be able to block, you know, all of them. So Timoret here, I think we just, that can resolve. Opponent sees the writing on the wall, and I will see you for game number 4. Alrighty, welcome back for game number 5. We have another keep here. We have all our colours, we're on the draw. We can play Invasion on turn 3, that's fine. Also Search of Seraph of New Capenna is probably what we're going to play on turn 3. So we can play the Invasion the next turn and start attacking it down. So now I've got all our colours. Dawn's Inquisitor is obviously very good. They should probably just transform this into a 3/3. We might actually... The awkward thing about this card is that you really want to kill it because it makes all of their Phyrexian tokens better. But it's just straight up allowing them to 2-for-1 you, which is never very fun. So here I think we just lay down... I think we're on the defensive here. I think we just want to play the Invasion to make them start thinking about, do I want to attack? Can I attack here? And now they're definitely going to be able to because they've got their own 2/2 knights. We can't block that. So really now, opponents got off to quite an aggressive start. We think here we just need to play out the Drinker. And now the question is, are we going to vanquish the 3/3? Or we can double block it, or we can play the Seraph itself. I think we just run the Seraph out. It's going to allow us to start attacking as well. We can attack here and they can just trade. The question is, do we want... I think trading here is actually... I think we'd rather do it on their turn because having it back, there is a chance that they attack with less. Whereas if we attack it, they can trade and they can be a lot more confident about what we're going to do. So here, they're just getting it with everyone. I mean, we can... I think we just want to trade here. And then... I mean, we can keep the Drinker and flip this, but it doesn't do much for us just because invasion is going to give our creatures +1/+1, but they're all going to be dead in that instance. So I think we just... I think we actually just want to double block here because if we're going to chump anyway, we may as well try and take out the bigger threat. And these 2/2s will hopefully get out dwarfed if we can draw something. Yeah. And the Drinker backside allows us to trade for one of these. So that's really good that the opponent didn't hit anything there. So Lance is very good on this board. They could have Artistic Refusal here because they've got the second blue source. So let's see what they... if they counter this. No, they don't. So we can attack. I think it's unlikely that we're going to... I think we actually don't attack here. I think we just exile this. It's mana efficient. The reason for not attacking is that if they have a removal spell for the 3/3, they can get in for 5, and we're at 11. So getting this down to 3 is good, but it's not worth running the risk of them putting some serious pressure on us, whereas now next turn we can flip the Incubate token and we still have Vanquish or Sealed from Existence up as well, and then we're going to be in a lot stronger position to be able to start attacking the invasion of Belenon. So yeah, now they have the removal spell here. Now they're going to swing out at us and for 4. And I think we do... So we can trade here. Or we can take 4 and then kill the Alabaster in combat, eat something. But I think that's quite risky. We just want to get to Breach. And the more life we're taking, the more risk we are of losing this game. Whereas, yeah, okay. So now we can just say go. And in that turn, we can flip this and kill the... We're going to kill the Alabaster first. So Omen Hawker... not really good on this board. Infected Defect is fine. See, this is why I should always play these spells after combat, because I'm a little bit more worried about what's going to happen in combat if they have all this mana up. But now I can just Vanquish. I mean, I was going to do it anyway, but you should always just sequence these spells that don't affect combat after combat. So target creature gains flying. Well, that's... maybe the reason they did that. Wow, okay. So maybe there was an argument there to Deadly Derision. So now we're going to have to activate this. We don't get to eat that thing. That is unfortunate. We go to 4. So I've drawn the land. So now I think we can just Derision the Alabaster. And then use the treasure token. We could... just block here, but we're really low, and this exiles, they don't get the Incubate token. So, Yeah, maybe there was an argument there to just Deadly Derision, not thinking about the aerial boost being a serious problem in combat there. So they're going to flip that 3-3. We're either going to draw something we can play or draw a land. So, and then play Breach. I'd love to draw a land. Wow, Corrupted Conviction is truly awful here. Okay. Probably the worst draw in our deck. Just because we can't sacrifice there. See, I think that the decision to not Deadly Derision instead of using the Vanquish the Weak is pretty brutal there. Opponent's going to get to attack. We're going to have to chump and Corrupted Conviction and then hope we hit something off Breach. So they're going to get to flip that 4-3. So they're going to have a fair bit of power on the board. Sacrifice this. If we draw something in instant speed, that's really good, but I don't know what we have left. So there are our lands. So now we can go and get, I mean, we're going to be able to get the Alabaster. We can get the Knight, we can get the Seraph, but hopefully we mill something a bit better. But being able to get the removal spell to take out the Order or probably the Order is super strong because the Alabaster it's not going to want to block, but this is a 5-4 now. Maybe we do need to take this out. Let's see what we draw. So Gloomfang Mauler, can't play that here. That we're 22, that we're 25, so we slam Breach. We just pray. Here, so we can go and get Boon-Bringer. So we're definitely going to want Boon-Bringer here. And in our opponent's graveyard, we could get the Shark, but we don't have any non-creature spells, and this is a removal spell, so I'm just going to go and get that. We get to put... So we're going to exile the 4-4 because it shrinks our team. Then we put this on... I think we just put this on Alabaster. Just make it a bit beefier. Next turn we're going to get to Gloom Fang Mauler, make this a 6-6 attack, have 2 5-5s, trade the Mauler for the 5-4. And the other reason to put the counter here is that if opponent does have something to kill the Boon-Bringer Valkyrie, we, leave the counter here. So put these on the Menace. I don't think opponent has anything. We could flip the battle, but I don't think actually +1/+1 is relevant here. So let's flip the battle, make these both 6 toughness so that the Dune Stomper can't attack. It also makes this 7/7. So yeah, that is relevant to allow us to block much better. Now we can actually start okay. So we can actually just incubate 2. I think we want to start getting in with the Mauler as well. They're going to have to double block. We're just gaining so much life. So yeah, the one misplay there, I think there is an argument to not Deadly Derision, instead of Vanquishing the Weak, but it's a tough one because the only card there that really gets us is the aerial boost. It's definitely a borderline call, but to save the more efficient removal spell, but maybe in that situation, the only way we're losing is if they have something like that. And so they're going off here a little bit with Tawashi, yeah. So if the only way we lose if they have something to respond there and can out-tempo us, so maybe it's worth giving up the more efficient removal spell, especially given we have Seal from Existence in hand as well. So now, I mean, they can attack us, but we can just flip these and double block it. And then they're just dead on board. Yeah, all right. I think that is win number 4, but it could be win number 5. I can't quite remember how many games this deck has won. So it is win number 4, and I'll see everyone for game number 5. Alrighty, back for game number 5, and this is another keep on the play. Got a tap land, got all of our colours. We can fetch double black, play Nezumi, and then we're eventually going to follow up with So there is some consideration actually here to playing this first. I think we're going to, because we don't have a turn 4 play, and we can go Surveyor, and then we can actually flip this if they tap out, and then we're going to be able to Boon-Bringer it as well. And the potential to do that is very strong. So now they're going to obviously take Boon-Bringer Valkyrie, so that's sort of not worked out as we would have wanted, but we'll just go ahead, get in for 2, play the Surveyor, and Corrupted Conviction is actually a very good draw here because we've got a lot of cheap creatures that we're very happy to turn into 2 cards. So it's going to allow us to come back a little bit here. Now, opponent can't really tap out here because we'll get to flip our agent. So they're in a bit of an awkward spot. I think they're probably going to play a removal spell on this. If they don't tap out, we're not going to flip our agent because it's just too backbreaking, I think, in earlier parts of games to flip this and get blown out because we'll have sunk a ton of mana in. Oh wow, and they're just going to let us flip here. So we can flip this. We're going to get to draw a card, get in 4. And now next turn we can actually play Inquisitor, Nezumi, Corrupted Conviction, and really start getting in. Potentially we should have just held back the Surveyor here to block the Marauding Dreadship, but opponent's not attacking, so I think they're probably going to want to trade the Dreadship here, but we're just going to play a land. I think we want to play the Informant, play the Inquisitor, and then on that end step we can sack the 1/1 to draw 2. Get another Incubate token. And we're not going to trade the 3/3 here for the 4/1 because we have 3 cards that are very efficient at trading for that, and it's not worth throwing away our best creature here, especially considering, you know, red-black has some powerful cards. You know, there's the 5/5 at common with haste, and the Death Toucher is good at dealing with that. So we don't just want to throw it away for the 1/2 of the Dreadship and leave them with the 2/2, even though we got to draw a card. The other thing as well is if we draw Breach of the Multiverse, we'll be able to cast it, get back Valkyrie, put it on this, and get in and draw another card. So here we can Corrupted Conviction in response. Draw 2, we get to keep the 1/1 for the Dreadship. Invasion of Eldraine and Seal from Existence, both very good. We're going to get that final 2 cards here. So here we just slam the Invasion. So what did they have? They had, wow, Skithrix. This is such a sweet card. I remember playing this. This was actually one of the sets I first played in. Flying Infect, gets haste, and can regenerate. Very, very strong. Awesome card. One of the best rares in that set, it was. So now we can Seal from Existence, or we can just flip our Incubate. No, we can't Seal from Existence. So we're just going to flip the Incubate token here. Now the question is, do we want to get in with the 3/3 or just the 2/2? So they're able to flip this and trade it. I think here it's worth flipping this, and because we've got the seal, we can actually potentially get to flip it next turn depending on how they block. So they're probably going to crew here, trade the 4/1 here, but then it's awkward for, they can also trade this. We'll see what they do. It's potential that we should have just held the board there, but it is worth flipping this. They can now, yeah, they can now trade the Dreadship for the 3/3, 2/2 for the 2/2, and then just leaves them with that. I mean, if they don't play anything, there is some consideration here for sealing away the 1/2. It just leaves them with sacrifice an artifact or land, draw a card. So I think here it is probably worth just sealing this and starting to attack the battle. If we flip this, it's just going to absolutely clock them because it'll deal 4 damage to them a turn. They're probably going to trade the Scrap Chomper. No, they're not going to. So they're going to start sacking lands here to draw cards. If they do that this turn, they should probably have done that last turn. So Glissa's a great draw. I mean, I think from here, we're heavily favoured to win. They're going to have to trade the Scrap Chomper. We get to incubate 2. This is just, I mean, when you have cards as powerful as Glissa and Boon-Bringer and Breach, it's very hard to lose these games when your top deck quality is just so much higher than your opponent's. They're drawing cards, but we've got a much higher probability to draw just ridiculous bombs in Glissa and breach the Multiverse, and also Invasion of Tolvado to get back at Boon-Bringer as well. So we have so many really powerful outs that it's not really that problematic to get into that sort of top deck battle. So here we just flip the token. We're going to get to flip the Invasion, and they've seen enough. So that's win number 5. I'll see you for game number 6. Alrighty, welcome back for game number 6. We're on the play. We've got 3 land Surveyor to get our Forest, Breach in hand, and a decent creature as well. So this is definitely a keep. Definitely not as strong as some of the other hands we've had where we've had, Glissa and Boon-Bringer, but definitely a hand worth keeping. I think here we probably just run out the Knight to start with. Just get some power on the board. We can play Surveyor next turn to get the land. It also gives us a little bit more info as to whether, we could draw, Invasion here. So I think we definitely don't want to let them flip that. So we may have to actually vanquish this turn or play Seraph. So this is a little bit awkward in that maybe we should have played the Surveyor last turn to guarantee that land drop, but now we're just going to need to kill that. We don't want them to let them flip the battle for free and just get in for 3. I really like this battle's really impressed me a lot more than I thought it would. I think the fact that it's good early to smooth your draws, it's also good late to discard extra lands. So now I think we just want to play out the Surveyor. We could play Invasion here, but we just want to make sure we're hitting our land drops as much as possible in order to get to Breach. We can play the Invasion next turn, potentially play the Golden Scale Aeronaut. Opponent's going to get to flip their thing now. It's very strong combo here. It's to be expected though at this point. I mean, opponent is also probably 4-1, 5-0, something very. They've probably got a very good deck as well. So not to be surprised at that. So now I've sort of got a choice between playing the Aeronaut or playing one of these other cards. I think next turn if we draw planes we can play Seal and Seraph, or we can just play Invasion, and this being a 3-4 is actually a very relevant blocker. So put that on it, pass. We're still at 20, so we've got a lot of time to sort of deal with some of these creatures. Hanger Scrounger is good here. Wow, the Hoplite is just going off. So they can attack for 4 in the air. I wonder what they have here. They could have Cut Short. I think we just block with everyone, because if they have, say, the deal 3, they can kill this, but then we still, trade the Aeronaut for that. We still have Surveyor, so block like this, they'll probably kill the Flyer. But, I mean, I wouldn't have attacked with this unless they have no more backup in hand, because so now we can Deadly Derision the 4-5. So I think we just want to say go. If they try and flip this, we kill it in response. If they don't, they go to combat, we'll kill the 4-5. Yes, that's good for us. Now if we draw a land as well, we can use that treasure token to breach. And that's part of the reason why these 7-mana spells are so strong in this format, is that there are a few things that just leave treasure tokens around. Wow, okay. So now, Boon-Bringer Valkyrie, best possible draw there other than a land. We put this on there. We're going to get in for 4. We can't block with it. We can't block with either of these, but we just want to get in with and start gaining life. And opponent now has to choose between attacking us for 4 or So no blocks there, I don't think, because next turn we can double block like that. Yeah, they can't attack with the flyer because we will get to swing back. We will get to swing back and gain the life, and so that it's just not a race they're winning. And now we get to do this. We're going to go, so we can get our own Boon-Bringer, Valkyrie, back. So we're going to get Glissa on our end. Then let's take a look at the battlefield. So the choices between a Boon-Bringer. I was going to get the Alabaster Host Intercessor there. We take out their flyer. We attack them. We have Glissa. We invasion them. We have Seal. And I think we just run away with that game. Breach is just an insane, insane card. And when you have it with bombs as powerful as Boon-Bringer and Glissa to mill and get back, it just makes it even more powerful. Alrighty, that's win number 6. I'll see everyone for the final match, hopefully. Alrighty, back for game number 7 and going for the clean 7-0. Here, this hand is a little bit slow, but it's a keep, I think, because we've got a green splash, we've got the Surveyor to get black, got Vanquish, Seraph. Just got to hope opponent doesn't come out with a super aggressive draw. Norn's Inquisitor is a very good one there. We've hit the Swamp, which is fantastic because now I can play Drinker. It allows us to trade and at least prevent them attacking with the 1-1. Here, if they don't flip the token and they play something else instead, I was going to say there is consideration there to then vanquishing the 1-1. No blocks here. I think next turn we're just going to play... Yeah, we're just going to play out Surveyor, getting a second Swamp for Phyrexian Gargantua. Glissa is just going to take over this board, and we just want to make sure we have the 5th land to play. No attacks. We'll just hold it back. There is some argument to attack there and maybe actually get 1 point in, and then Surveyor still blocks the Inquisitor, but yeah, I think actually I should have attacked there. So, no blocks here. If they don't play anything else, I think we probably just vanquish the token here. Blue-white doesn't have a ton of incubate, so... Well, now actually we just play our own... Start off. We'll attack. And then we can just play our own Inquisitor. Wow, so they are offering the trade. It just means I think they don't have any other incubate in their hand, but if they knew that we had the the Inquisitor, I think that they would probably not have made that block. So now we just play Inquisitor here. Going to incubate 2, say go. We'll just transform this and trade because we've got Glissa coming down. We're going to have so much. We just don't want to take damage and put our life total at risk. So they're going to attack. We'll just flip this. Gets the extra 1-1. We'll go to blocks. They definitely have something here at instant speed because, yeah, I'm not surprised it's a dispersal. Just because it was pausing there. And on Arena, it's one of the things that I actually dislike about Arena is you can really tell when your opponent has something, and particularly when you have their colors and you know the set, you can just sort of, you know exactly what it is. So now we just run out Glissa. We just incubate twice here. Get in for 1. I think I'm just going to leave this back. Just in case they deal with Glissa, we might want to just chump and preserve our life total, given that we're going to play the Gargantua, and if we take 3 and then play this, we go to 8. It's not super low, but wow. So they're going to return Glissa. Yes, I mean, for this situation here, like they could have put the battle under a little bit of pressure, and I'd much rather just prevent that from happening. Now we can play Glissa. We can exile this to get another incubate token, and then we can flip all of them, make them all 3/3s, and get in with our team. Start really piling the pressure on here, and then next turn when we can play Seraph and Vanquish, we can play Phyrexian Gargantua. We're going to get additional 2/2s with Glissa. We can just flip those. So opponent is doing their best, but I don't know if they realise that that does not work potentially the way they want it to. So now I sort of think we can just play around Sunfall a little bit here. I think we just go to combat, we incubate twice, and we just get in with the team. So now, I think we just play out the Seraph. If they manage to gum up the board, that's going to be lethal. And we have the 2 incubate tokens to flip into 3/3s to block. That's the 7-0 trophy. I mean, this was just an absolutely insane sealed deck. And I think you can see from when I built it that, you know, we didn't need to look at anything else. There was no other option. The clean 7-0 win. Let's take a look at the deck. Absolutely can't really ask for much more than this when you open up a sealed pool. Having Breach, Glissa, Invasion of Tolvado, and Boon-Bringer Valkyrie. Some of the strongest cards, and having them all with the dual land, double surveyor, and deadly derision to be able to easily fix for the Glissa just makes the deck super consistent. You can't ask for much more in sealed. This was a lot more like a draft deck than a sealed deck, and I'm not too surprised that this got the trophy, but I'm surprised that it got the 7-0, so leave a like for that. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe and leave a comment below about what your favourite game was in this sealed match.